Hey, GLP-1 plus size community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault. You want to know a hack to get insurance to cover your GLP-1 prescriptions? Here's the truth. Most people get denied the first time that they try, and insurance companies are betting that you're just going to give up. But you do have rights, and you can appeal not just once, but multiple times. The problem is the process is confusing and it's time consuming, and a lot of providers just don't have the bandwidth to be able to fight through it with you. So that's why I partnered with Claimable. It's an easy-to-use tool that helps you build expert-backed appeals proven to work. So don't give up on your shot at coverage. Exhaust your appeals. Go to getclaimable.com/plussides to learn more and use code PLUSSIDES with a Z to save.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper, with results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Welcome to the Plus
Howdy.
Sides Podcast. How you
Welcome,
doing,
everybody.
How you doing? You were looking
all
very
right.
purple.
Yeah, just got it done.
Vibrant.
Quite literally, like I just got out of the
literally.
shop.
Yeah.
It's not even done yet, but you know, we're gonna go with the flow.
It looks good. And you know what it's going to look really good for? Your birthday ride at Cycle Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Kat, the other day. Yesterday?
Yesterday.
I was in the bathtub when I
you.
texted you. Huzzah! Happy birthday.
Libra season. Woo,
Libra
woo.
season. Soon it will be Scorpio season. However, I don't claim Scorpio. For all my
Yeah, you
Scorpio
do.
friends, I'm sorry I'm about to say this, but like we're a little evil, just a little. But I'm mostly Sagittarius, which is a little less evil. I've decided. Kat, I'm not evil. You know it. Just sometimes.
Spicy.
Okay, sorry. Digress. Hey, everybody. We're going to do our intro. So if you're one of our regulars and you're annoyed by that, this is your chance to fast forward. But we got to do it because we get hundreds of people every week. What do you want? We got to tell them who we are, what we do. That's how they find us. SEO.
Yep.
Okay. My name's Kim. This is the Plus Sides Podcast. We are an education podcast and focus on advocacy as well. We want you to understand everything about metabolic disease to be able to empower you to advocate for the health that you deserve and that you're worthy of. I have had obesity the majority of my life, and I started a GLP-1 over 3 years ago now. I lost 110 pounds and I've bounced around within about 20 pounds of that, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Why? Because obesity is a chronic disease and deserves treatment. And we are here to talk all about that. We want to change things. Our podcast is, we've won 4 awards. We're very reputable. That's why I'm telling you that also because I'm proud because
Yeah.
we worked very hard. And we're in the top 1.5% of podcasts in the world.
In the
And we're
world.
all about this. In the world, Kat
In
says,
the
in the
world.
world. And we're all about this. So we are worldwide and we love to hear from you. Feel free to send us emails or do our fan mail or chat or whatever you want. If you're watching this right now, please hit the thumbs up. Give us a comment, like, share, review, all the things. If you're listening on the audio platform,
5 stars only.
Five
Tell 'em
stars only. We will not accept anything less. No, I'm kidding. We love reviews. Please help us. That is what helps us continue to be referred up and help more people because all of us know that
we're here for.
ultimately there's a lot of misinformation out there. So we really do try to bring you experts and try to bring you community members so that you guys can be able to know you're not alone and it's not your fault. Okay. That's who we are. That's who I am. Let's talk about Kat. Why are you here? Who are you? What you doing? How's it going?
Hi, I'm the spare plus size person.
You are not. You're my
Kim,
friend and co-producer and star.
Kim
And
doesn't like
social
that
media.
joke. I think it's hilarious, but yeah,
I
he's fair.
know.
I mean,
Nah,
I'm getting up there. But anyway, yeah, I'm Kim's social lube.
yeah.
Just call me Casey Jelly, and that's what I do.
Casey.
Yeah, like you think that Kim is like super super duper outgoing, but
No.
when we are in public settings, she is in the corner,
Yeah.
and
Where
I'm
the
out
cattle
working the
go.
room. Yep,
Bring me out. Bring me out.
we
Anyway,
do.
that's what we
Yep.
do.
So
That's what we
it's
do.
all a lie.
I know.
It is all a lie.
They do
Lie.
think that I'm like this butterfly, and I'm like, it's Cat. It's not me. But anyway, you'll meet us
Yep.
in person because we do things like this.
Yeah,
We
we do.
went to DC and we're going to be in Obesity Week this year. Kat's actually going to be covering that. So we're advocates and,
Mhm.
we are really trying to change things and get everybody access and care. So that's
We're
what
doing it well, this is not going to be out when it's out, but we
Mhm.
are I got Kim to take a ride with me on Saturday for my birthday.
That's right. So
Kim is
watch our
taking
socials for that. Watch our
Yeah, it's on my socials. It's on my
social
socials.
sharing.
I need to make one after this. But yeah, she will be doing a cycle strength ride with me.
Yes. I'm terrified. However, the other day I ran, which is a huge deal for
I
me. I
don't
have
run.
not run. I don't even know. Like, how do
I
you even test
refuse.
insight? Because I don't do it since like middle school. And even then it was
Mhm.
awful. And I felt so good. I was like, oh my God, like what else can my body do? What else can I do? And that is the coolest feeling ever.
This is the most hilarious thing to me is because
I
I've
know.
always been into fitness
I know.
and Kim, I used to really annoy Kim a lot. Oh my
Me too.
God, always talking about getting a sweat in. Oh, sweating makes you feel so good. Oh, poo
It
poo.
didn't annoy
Shut
me. It's
up.
just like just annoyed me when you would fuss at me for not doing it.
Mhm. And the whole time I'd be like, "It's gonna catch up with
And it
you."
did. Like, ultimately, guys, like, that's what I'll say is like,
But then
it
you got
freaking
hooked on it. But then
remember
you
that?
got
Like,
hooked.
now I'm hooked on
Yeah.
it. I know, like, but it really did, like, we talk about that a lot on the show is that I feel like I'm like a grandma, like, I did all the wrong things, and so now I'm trying to, like, give you all the things so you don't, you know
Not
you
technically doing the wrong things. I mean,
No, I
everything
did
happens
all
in
the
the
wrong
opposite
things.
order.
I didn't eat enough. I didn't eat enough protein. I didn't do mental health stuff at first. I also wasn't eating
Yeah,
nutritiously at first. I was just eating less than. I didn't exercise enough. I didn't do strength training. Now I do all the things, but
yeah.
I didn't at first because I didn't know.
I was talking to my
I thought I was
hairdresser
losing weight.
today, and we were
Mhm.
talking about, like, how women in the '80s were just drinking Tab soda and doing Jane Fonda workouts.
Yeah.
So, they were also really destroying their bodies as well.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
but
Yeah.
that's it. So, yeah, in a nutshell, I've been on the MJ, on Tirzepatide for
Percent.
2, 3 years. Yep, and
Yep.
I think I should officially say that I am down 90 pounds, but, there was, a rocky it took a long time, but I'm okay.
Yeah,
I,
but I think
I
that's good.
prefer to lose it extremely slow. I was kind of a whiny brat about it for a while because everybody else had all this food aversion, and here I am still having a full-on appetite, just getting a nice delicate wall. But that's
Yeah.
okay because I'm still, I had to do all the things. So
Same season.
I like it that way.
I think it's okay.
It came off slow.
Well,
So
I think, like, when Kat and I started this, we were like, "Oh, this is like a weight loss journey," right? Like, we were and I think everybody
oh
on our
yeah,
TikTok and stuff at the time, we were like, "Oh, like, it's
it's like learning
accountability."
to live with it,
Yeah,
right?
like, I ate this, and I gave a shot day, and, like, all these different things, and then
Yeah.
by about the first season, interviewing all these doctors and people in the community, we realized it doesn't have anything to do with weight loss at all.
No,
It's about sickness and treating disease
it's your
and, like,
brain. Yep.
health gain, right? So that's what we talk about here. That was the longest intro. I'm so
My bad.
sorry.
I think we went off the rails.
Okay. It
You
is your
guys, I'm
oh,
getting Kim to do a
butterfly.
cycle class. I'm really excited about
Anyway,
that.
I'm excited. Yes, I'm excited about the cycle class too. So go watch our social sharing because we will be doing that
We'll
on
go live.
Saturday. Okay. Yeah, we'll go live.
Yep.
It'll be okay. All right. Let's get started. Okay, so our guest today is Lori, and you might know her from GLP-1 Journey Review on the YouTubes. Let's invite her in. Hey, Lori.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing? It's good to see you again.
Uh, Good to see you too.
Yeah. I know you're feeling a little, but that's okay. We're so glad
It's okay.
to have you. We're so glad to have
Sound
you.
effect.
So the way that it works on our podcast is we like to just give you the space because I felt from the beginning that like all the way that news is now, like everybody cuts and edits, and there's very few things that are like authentic and raw. So I
Mhm.
try to edit the podcast as least as possible, which my husband is the editor, so he loves that, but it's true. There's very few things out there that are like that, and I find this journey to be like really. I talked about on your show, right? Like way more than a weight loss journey and
Mhm.
spiritual. And I honestly almost feel like the weight part kind of takes care of itself, but all the other stuff, is a really big deal. And so I feel like on the news and stuff, when they would take our clips and stuff of our bellies, it was just like very much like trivializing the experience. So this is just for all our new people. So what Kat and I do, because we are chatties, is we go on mute and just let you have your moment. Okay. So that's what we're
Okay.
gonna. Okay.
All right. Okay. So I'm Lori, and I never had a weight problem when I was growing up. It didn't start for me till I was about 24, maybe 25. And that's pretty much when I started working a real lot. Before that, I used to run like 5 miles a day. And when I kind of stopped that, I kind of continued my eating just as it was. And yeah, I was overweight. I wasn't obese or anything, but I was overweight. My family was fat shaming me because this was back in the early 80s. Obesity wasn't as big of a problem as it is today. I had people at work ask me if I was pregnant, and it was just wait. And then come 1985, my mom passed away, and that hit me really hard, and I got depressed. And my father still kind of fat shamed me a little bit, but not quite as bad. And then about a year and a half later, he passed away. And at that point, I was just depressed, and I stopped caring about how I looked. So I was just eating because I was depressed. And it took a few years, and finally I'm guessing I got to about 200 pounds. Now I'm only 5'2". I didn't even own a scale, so I'm guessing I was about 200 pounds. Um, and I figured, okay, I've tried, first I tried Weight Watchers, lost a little bit on Weight Watchers. And that really wasn't the problem. It's once I lost it, I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I lost it. Let's celebrate. Let's go eat. And pretty much gained the weight back. I've tried many diets. I tried a cabbage soup diet. I tried Atkins diet. I tried Weight Watchers again. Ironically, I just was checking a old credit card statement from a couple months ago, and I still had one of my Weight Watchers fees being taken out. I had to cancel that because I probably had many Weight Watchers accounts. I went to a place called, I think it was called something like Quick Weight Loss Center, where you would have a half a protein for breakfast, a half a protein for lunch, and then you could have a protein and a vegetable for dinner, and then you had to have their bars or their snacks at least 3 to 4 times a day. So, besides it costing a couple $1,000s to join it, you had to pay for all of these supplements, and they gave you these fat burner pills, which didn't really even have a label. So, I just bought them because I had to, but I never really took them because I had a feeling they weren't going to work. And I got to my lowest weight as an adult, which was 141. And I was doing kickboxing back with my taekwondo and stuff like that. And again, I didn't know how to maintain it. So slowly it started coming back. And then the pandemic hit. and everything went out the window then. It was like all the bad habits came back, didn't care. Um, and after the pandemic, I decided I was going to leave the job that I was at and start a new job. And I could tell they were a little hesitant about even hiring me because of my weight, but they did. And about 4 months later, I developed a cough. So my doctor said, let's just play everything safe, get a CAT scan. And I do CAT scans. So I put myself in the CAT scan machine and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, is that calcium in my coronary artery? So then I decided, well, let me go see a cardiologist because heart disease runs in the family. I have high cholesterol and high blood pressure anyhow. And he's like, you probably could lose a little bit of weight. So that was kind of like my aha moment. And I'm like, well, nothing's really worked in the past. So, talking to some friends and, I was hearing little bits about the GLP-1 medications. And I'm like, okay, I know they're expensive. They're like $1,200 a month, but maybe I could do it a month or two, kickstart my diet and go from there. So I kind of looked into it and, saved up a couple $1,000s to get it. And one of the guys that I work with said, what about compound? I'm like, compound? What's that? I knew really nothing. I'm like, what are you telling me? Like people are making this in their garage and selling it? I knew nothing. He's like, no, no, he's also a part-time race car driver. He's like, me and my crew, we've all been using it. Here's the card, here's the name of the place. So I gave him a call and I'm like, "Ah, this is like, $400 a month, I could afford that. And, I had money saved. So, they said, best way to do it is order like 3 months supply. And it went, 2.5 of tirzepatide, then to 5 the next month, and 7.5. And I'm like, okay. So, it came a couple days before Christmas, and this was 2020. Let me get the years right. 2023. And I'm like, I'm not going to blow my Christmas, and Christmas is my birthday. So, had big plans, eating plans, of course. So I'll just start it right after the first of the year, when everybody starts their diet, and had my Christmas. I weighed myself at that point. I was up to 185. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to, eat junk food and stuff like that anymore because I really want to do this seriously after the first of the year. So like I ate all the junk food in the house because I had to get rid of it. I wasn't going to waste it. My parents always taught me there's starving kids in China. If you get it, you eat it.
You want to know a hack to get insurance to cover your GLP-1 prescriptions? Here's the truth. Most people get denied the first time that they try, and insurance companies are betting that you're just going to give up. But you do have rights and you can appeal not just once, but multiple times. The problem is the process is confusing and it's time consuming. And a lot of providers just don't have the bandwidth to be able to fight through it with you. So that's why I partnered with Claimable. It's an easy to use tool that helps you build expert backed appeals proven to work. So don't give up on your shot at coverage. Exhaust your appeals. Go to getclaimable.com/plus sides to learn more and use code plus sides with a Z to save.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Roe now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper, with results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
So I did. I didn't even weigh myself after that. And then it came about December 27th or 28th. I figured, why am I waiting? I have the stuff. So I'm sitting there, before work, and I work very early. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, could I even inject myself? I had that little discussion with myself for about 5 minutes and I injected myself. I'm like, that was nothing. So my journey started a couple days before New Year's, and it seemed to work really well. I didn't even know what food noise was, and all of a sudden it was gone, and I wasn't even craving stuff anymore. Um, I really haven't been hungry my whole time on tirzepatide, which I'm still on for maintenance. Um, but, it wasn't that I couldn't eat or it wasn't that I didn't wanna eat. I just, have my meals and pretty much that's it, and I was really surprised at what I was craving instead of ice cream and chips was, like, cut up fruit and, just healthier stuff. So I started, making myself healthier stuff. Uh, for a while, I was eating primarily fish as my protein because I live in South Florida and fresh fish is very abundant. And I really like fish. So, that was mainly what I had with, fresh vegetables. Uh, I got a little bit lazy, a little bit into it because there's a lot of retirement areas. So in a 6 or 7 mile radius, I probably have 10 delis that specialize in retirement people. So, they have these, slices of grilled chicken and a vegetable already made up. So, like, I was buying those for my lunch, but I was still making my dinner. And, I check with them that it's, all natural ingredients. They probably used a little bit more salt than I would have, but, I figured, if that's the worst thing, that's, not too bad. At least they were using real food, stuff you could pronounce and stuff that I would make. I just didn't really have the time. And then January of this year, I got down to 118 and I decided that's a good weight. So like I have like a 5 pound window between like 115 and 120 that I try to stay. I don't really restrict any food. Nothing is totally off limits. And I have that little window and I've gone down. My highest dose was 10 milligrams. Um, that's kind of not true because I did take 12.5 for 2 weeks and I was literally forcing myself to eat. And I'm like, no, no, this isn't right. So I went back, 10 was basically my highest dose. And I slowly tried to go back down. 7.5 was good. I tried 5 and the food noise was coming back. So I went back to 7.5 and I've pretty much stayed there. And my weight from January, and this is now the beginning of October, has stayed in that 5 pound window. Am I considering possibly going back down to 5? Possibly, but it's working. If I do, it'll be slower since I do have compound and I can adjust it a little bit. And that's pretty much been my plan and my story.
So I'm so curious about like when you were talking about like, oh, let me ask you, are you open to questions? I always
Sure.
ask because you know I'm a questioner. So I'm really curious, like what it felt like for you. I think that a lot of times we're a little bit different, right? Like in terms of food noise, I think specifically and what that experience is like. And I would love to know like what was it for you and how was it different than anything you've done before?
Well, like I said, I didn't even know what food noise was till it was gone. And I'm like, wow, all of a sudden I have some clarity because, all that, what am I going to eat next? How am I going to make it? Do I have the ingredients? What's coming next? Oh, yeah, there is some chocolate cake in the refrigerator. I better, think about eating that, before it goes bad. That was all gone. So, that was totally new. Other than that, like, I didn't have cravings. So, like, I felt good. I
Yeah.
had zero side effects. And my energy level, it really wasn't affected at all,
Wow.
except the fact that I was losing weight and feeling so good that I'm like, let me increase my workout. So, of course, then I felt even better.
That's awesome. And do you feel like not a lot of people talk about it, but I think that I've explored a lot, like on this season with Kat, like sort of the idea of like these foods that are really hyper palatable. Like we had on Dr. Kessler right on our show, who
Hmm.
definitely worked within big food and big tobacco and is trying to do things within obesity. And he was talking with us about, kind of like the problems with like the fact that it's not necessarily that all our food is bad, but it's not even that necessarily processed food is bad as much as it is that it's just scientifically engineered to be hyper palatable, right? To affect
Hmm.
your dopamine, right? And I I always say that this medicine is not like the other medicines because in
Mhm,
my opinion, like, or my experience, I just didn't really want those things anymore. They weren't of interest to me, and
mhm,
what did taste good to me was the same thing that you said, and that
yeah,
happened to me within a few months, and it blew my mind, like, blew my mind.
mhm,
I've never been like that. I was always forcing myself to eat that way, and now I love it, you know? Don't get me wrong, I have McDonald's coffee right here next to me, like, I try to do everything in moderation, but for the most part, those are the things that I tend to gravitate to, right? Which
mhm.
has a lot of aha moments for me when that happened of, like, what's going on there, you know? But I'm curious, like, what did you think when that was happening?
Yeah, I embraced it 'cause,
Yeah,
uh, fast food, I never really liked it. For me,
yeah,
if I was gonna have a hamburger, I certainly wasn't gonna go to McDonald's or Burger King. I
yeah,
would pay the $2 or $3 extra, actually, go to a steak place, get a burger to go,
right,
and bring that home.
yeah,
So,
right,
and occasionally I
mhm,
still do that.
yeah,
I'm probably would only eat half the burger now and maybe 2 or 3 fries, but, like I said, moderation,
yeah,
I love the fact that I don't crave, you know, going out all the time like I used to,
yeah,
because
that's
it's
awesome.
expensive,
Yeah,
and, I just don't, crave it. It's like I like my grilled chicken, I like my grilled fish, I don't need any fancy sauces on it. I love my steamed vegetables,
yeah.
that's just,
I agree, like,
fantastic
I
for
have
me.
this thing where I'm like, I mean, do I really wanna, but I think there's something to, like, in terms of wanting to leave the house, but there is sort of like this, I mean, do I really wanna go all of this way to pay all of this money for this food that I'm gonna be like, "Eh," like, I'd rather just eat here, and, like, it became
Mhm,
very, like, to me, I did not enjoy food. It was, like, for, like, 2 years. I just was like, I'm just eating because I have to eat, and, I only ate a little bit, and that was kind of it. It wasn't like a like, I had, like, this, like, my emotional relationship with food just, like, severed like a
mhm.
cord so fast, right? Which was utterly bizarre. Did you have that experience? Like, or did you said you embraced it because like, it terrified
I
me. I
did.
didn't know what to do with
Mhm.
myself, you know?
It's it that I like I said, I enjoy it. I still like good food. I mean, don't get
Mhm,
me
sure.
wrong,
Yeah.
and I still love my grilled fish. I just, prefer the way I make it 'cause, I know I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put a little seasoning on it and just grill it or throw it in the air fryer. I know what's in it, and
It's the best. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think it's funny, I mean, I gotta tell you, if I lived in Florida, I would be the same. I'd have to be rich because I'd want crab legs every week, and I eat a shit ton of crab legs even on GLP-1s. I can't I don't know what it is, they're magic. They're like Krispy Kreme donuts, they just go right down, you know?
That's
yeah.
hilarious. I
Yeah.
am a Midwesterner.
Snapper and mahi are my favorites.
Right.
Oh, mahi's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I never had snapper. What did you say,
Yeah.
honey?
Oh, it's good.
I said I'm a Midwesterner. I did not try crab until I was probably in my 30s. And meh. We grew up on, it's not Midwest, I don't, yeah,
See, you don't
crab
like
legs.
I grew up in the Midwest too, so I know what you're talking about.
see, she went the other
Yeah.
direction. She was like, "Nah, I want all the fish in the land."
Yeah. Yeah. And the funny thing, yeah, because we were talking about with that, the nutritionist a couple days ago, like,
Mhm.
I don't really like
Yeah.
fish unless it's like tuna steak or like a swordfish
You
steak.
know,
Tuna's good.
omega-3s in. Yeah,
But
it's good.
yeah, no leftovers. The dog would get that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we grew up on beef,
Yeah, I
and
get it, yeah. It
yeah.
is weird, like, I mean, so Kat's been experience been different, Lori. Well, I'm not gonna speak for you, you're here. Tell us about your food and, like, what it's been like for you because 'cause you're a cook. Like, I feel like you've been like, "Kim, I eat all the time. I eat all the things.
I
I
do.
eat more." You know?
Well, since I started taking HRT, I don't have that
As bad, yeah.
that we call it the PMS phase where you want to eat all the things and it
Yes.
never goes away.
Yeah.
But since I was taking HRT, that has helped. But yeah, even in the beginning, um, just the wall, nothing like
Yeah.
I
I
could
love
use some
cooking.
cake, but then I could have a cupcake and be done. Like, oh, now this is different.
Yeah.
But I like goodies.
I know you do. Yeah.
I still
And she
like
likes her
goodies.
grape juice. She says, "I like my grape juice.
My
I'm not
grape juice.
giving up my grape juice."
Oh, that did change a little bit.
The grape juice changed, yeah.
I like
We
white
could say
wine
wine
more
here,
so.
it's YouTube.
I know we could say wine. You can't say wine on TikTok.
It's so
Um,
stupid.
I
I
can't
bet I could
have
if I was
like
selling some sort of wine something for them. Just
Yeah.
saying.
But I can't have, your typical old house wine anymore. It has to be super expensive or not super, just it has to be better quality. I
But
can't
that's like me
have,
with food, right? Like, I don't wanna go spend all this money if I can just
yeah. Like we were having some red wine last night. I was like, you know what?
interesting.
We're gonna have to go up in this quality.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yep.
think what we need to do is talk about why we feel all these things so that we can understand it, and then make sure when people say stupid things to us, like we don't deserve care, we know what to say.
Yeah. The whole spectrum of everything,
Absolutely.
right?
What do you say? Let's invite on Dr. Dan to talk with us. What do you say? Hey, Dr. Dan,
Hello.
welcome to the
Hello,
plus side.
hello. Thanks
We're
for
so
having
glad
me,
to have you.
everybody.
Absolutely. We're so glad to have you.
Yes, it's exciting.
Sorry, I'm just realizing I have to take off this watch because I need a new band. It keeps giving me a rash.
Oh,
So
jeez.
I know it's gross. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't figured out the Apple Watch thing yet. It is nice to like check your heart rate and things like that, but it's also easy to obsess. But it is
Mm,
nice when it's like you need to stand up and you need to get moving when you like have a job where you sit down a lot. So I am enjoying that piece of it. Do you guys have
fair enough.
smartwatches that do these things? I'm new. I just joined. You got
Totally.
one? Yeah. Do you, Kat? Do you wear a smartwatch?
I have a smartwatch. I don't wear it very much.
No.
Um, it's funny. I feel like I do spin a lot, right? And strength. So I don't feel I get the fair amount of steps. And it frustrates
I feel
me.
like that's a step every spin. Like, I don't know.
It doesn't count my steps.
Oh
And
no.
I am angry at my watch.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Okay, sorry, that was a squirrel. Kat and I
yep.
also have ADHD. We tease a lot of times. We're like, what would happen if two people with ADHD started a podcast? This is what
All
happened.
right.
Yep.
So anyway, that went south down the foxhole.
So, Dr. Dan, we know you were on the YouTubes with us. We are mostly audio, but we post on YouTube too. Friends, go watch us there, please, would you? Because sometimes they pay us money. But we like you listen here too. Dr. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you help people?
Totally. So I'm a pharmacist by training, and I really kind of stumbled into the obesity space. Yeah, I would say like kind of accidentally. Like came out, was practicing, doing a lot of clinical care and working out of physicians' offices and that sort of thing, and saw the way that we were kind of taught is very much, stepwise therapy, especially for diabetes. You kind of add
Mhm.
this drug on, then you come back in 3 months and it's still high, and you add another drug, and so on and so forth. And I really didn't have much interest in doing that. I really wanted to work with people, and I like the psychological side of things and that sort. And I always say if I were to go back to school, it'd be to become like a psychiatrist or something like that. And just so happens that Novo Nordisk, the guys that are making Saxenda, Wegovy, Ozempic, and all
Mhm.
that, one of their, I think, medical science liaisons kind of came into the clinic one day and was like, "Oh yeah, have you heard about Saxenda and blah blah blah?" And these were all very like Saxenda. I guess it had been out for a couple of years, but wasn't nearly blockbuster as good and that sort of thing. And so we started talking about it, and because we really didn't have much for treatment of obesity, we just had lifestyle, psychological counseling, and that sort of thing. I kind of found they were really focused on that piece because they're like, well, we don't have the drugs, not yet. We have bariatric surgery, but it's a 3 year wait to get that. So we're doing the best we can with all this lifestyle stuff. And I got to do a whole bunch of free training and work with them,
Mm,
and absolutely fell in love with it, and kind of got to do really that other side of it and digging real deep into more of the emotional, psychological drivers. What is, why do we eat? What are the things that are triggers in your environment, and how does that play out? And then getting into like perfectionism, all or nothing thinking, like Lori was talking about, like I got
Yep.
to crush all the treats in the house before I start my
Mhm.
journey. And it's
yeah.
like, are you never going to have a treat again? Like
Mhm.
that whole piece of it. So really, really dived, loved all of that. Yeah, and I just was able to build up my practice and eventually opened up Canada's first, if not the world's first, pharmacist-led obesity clinic. And that's what I do on a full-time basis, and take a very holistic approach. And yeah, we work front to back with everybody, order the labs, do the assessments, plus or minus drug therapy, and yeah, helping people every single day. And it's been extremely rewarding and a very cool experience. And then on top of that, doing the YouTube and building up my online community with people to kind of help and support in a
Yeah.
bigger, broader sense and move the needle forward. And just like you guys are doing with
Right.
the advocacy and helping people to understand what obesity really is and what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, I think it's that's awesome. I think it's really important that we all like try to work together because I just think this is like this is a movement and like so it's like, it's like when ants have to pick up something and move it together and like I
Mhm.
think that's what we have to do and we all kind of add our own little piece to it and our own little spin or whatever it is. Like I think like what I always focus on or when Kat and I said this, so what I do for a living is product marketing. So like I take things that are very complex and try to make them into like digestible things. And I think that a lot of times when our doctors talk to us, or clinicians in any way, they talk to us like we're peers and not like we're patients. And we don't follow, right? So
Yeah.
then how can we really ask for what we need? How can we really say what's going on? And how can we really even build trust because we feel like they're so far above where we are in terms of, I think I don't want to say intelligence, but I do want to say in like the amount of data and things that they know that we do in terms of schooling or whatever it is, right? So
Totally.
that's what we try to focus on is like just a way for people to understand things better. Um, I think that it's awesome that you do that. Does your clinic work like or all across the US? Like, are telehealth in that?
No, so unfortunately, just based on our college and regulations and up here
Mhm,
in Canada,
Mhm.
I'm basically restricted to Alberta.
mhm.
That being said, I do have people that
Dang.
have started traveling kind of
Yeah.
from other provinces and that sort and all over Alberta to come and see me. And
Oh,
yeah, I mean, that's been absolutely mind blowing that someone
Yeah.
drives 8 hours for a 1 hour appointment with me. And I'm just like, wow, okay.
I get it though. I mean, like if there's anything that I think I've realized is that the trust is significantly broken between I think practitioner and patient.
Totally.
And what I think I see most in that is like everybody that follows me knows I literally I just interview experts, right? Like I'm not one. I do marketing, right? So, but that being said, they will come to me and ask me a question on a live before they will go to their doctor.
Yeah.
And that's even a doctor that's providing them the medication. And I just think that the system has just gotten really messed up that way. And the trust, I think specifically between, practitioner and patient when they have obesity because of how bad things are. And that trust really does need to get repaired. And I don't know how to do it. You got any ideas?
I mean, it's like one person at a time
Yeah.
and slowly but surely, and it's still, I mean, I still have patients that come to me and they've even gone to a bariatric specialist and they've been shamed by a physician or clinician that's specializing in this area. And I'm just like the foundation of this practice and going into it is you learn not to be shaming and blaming and stigmatizing and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And I won't say that I'm some saint and I don't say the wrong thing sometimes or
sure.
say the
Yeah.
person that has, oh, you're obese or whatever like that. But
Mhm.
the basic foundation of just taking the time to listen and to
Yeah.
understand and just have frickin' empathy for somebody. Like
Yeah.
I may
Indeed.
not be able to know like what exactly you've gone through, Kim or Kat or Lori,
Mhm.
but I can be like, wow, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry you went through that.
Right? There's something very powerful in
Sure.
that, right? And someone just going, "Damn, that sucks." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would tell you I did that once with a friend and when her husband passed because I didn't know what to say. And I was just like, "That sucks." And then I hugged her and I go, "But you know what? You had him for 20 years and it was a good 20 years, right?" And that's because all I knew what to say. Because all the
Mhm.
other stuff doesn't work. It's all just like, saying thank you for your service. Like, what does it mean, right? And I think like sometimes just for people to kind of recognize that it's been really hard, and like just validating that, I think is important. Um, Kat, you had a question. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to go back to the basics a little bit because we have not talked about this in a little while in our episodes. But can we go over the basics? Insulin resistance and how the GLP-1 therapies treat the insulin resistance and why do they work better than, say, the old weight loss meds like phentermine or speed,
Speed. Totally. Well, I mean, depending on that speed and what cut you're getting
right?
with.
Speed, caffeine, that's the other, yeah,
It's your house.
Exactly.
amphetamines, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
100%.
This is a family show, never mind.
It's not. It's not a family show. Sorry.
I
Go ahead.
guess to back it up and to give you the breakdown. So Insulin's a hormone that takes sugar from the bloodstream and puts it inside of our cells. Now, the way I think about insulin is it kind of works like a key, and all the cells throughout your body, your muscle, brain, heart, kidney, whatever, they all have a lock. And this key goes in, opens the lock, sugar goes from the
Mm,
bloodstream inside of the cell, and the cells do the cell things. When we get insulin resistance, what's essentially happening is someone slapped a whole bunch of extra locks on the door. So
Mhm.
what used to take one key of insulin now requires two, three, four, and so on. And as it progresses over time, whether it's through inactivity, eating very high calorie diets, having a lot of fat gain, especially around your organs and your liver,
mm,
more and more locks get slapped on. Now, for a while, your pancreas that produces the insulin can keep up with all of this and produce more keys that opens up the doors, and blood sugar looks all normal and everything seems to be good to go. But eventually, what happens is that factory, the pancreas, starts to break down. And when it starts to break down, what ends up happening is we get the shift where blood sugar levels go up. That sugar is no longer going from the bloodstream inside of the cell. And that's when someone can develop full blown diabetes. So, insulin resistance is kind of that precluding step. It's not always going to be for everybody, but it's definitely moving you that direction, just because pancreas isn't going to be able to keep up long enough to kind of mitigate and manage. Where the GLP-1 medications come in, so it has a couple of different effects. Number one, there's obviously the weight loss effect, so helps us to reduce how much we're consuming in calories. That brings our fat and the fat around our organs down. That lowers the insulin resistance levels, so it's kind of busting some of the locks off the door. Sugar more easily moves from bloodstream inside of the cell. But the other effect that it has, independent of weight loss, is it actually goes to our liver and tells our liver to stop producing extra sugar. When it stops that extra sugar production, what ends up happening is sugar just more easily normalizes. It also goes to the pancreas and helps the pancreas to be, I like to say, well, it like massages the pancreas. So it's better able to produce the insulin.
mm,
The insulin comes out
mhm.
in a better, more, I guess, efficient manner, if you will. And ultimately, that all helps to bring blood sugar levels into control and starts to slowly work with the weight coming off, which in total reduces your insulin resistance levels. So it's working directly on how our body fundamentally manages glucose, sugar, and all that sort, because it's already a hormone our body
Yeah.
produces, and this hormone naturally goes out and does this when you eat a meal.
Mhm.
The other drugs, phentermine, Contrave, all that sort of stuff,
Mhm.
they unfortunately, like, they have the indirect effect that when they help you to lose weight, it'll help insulin resistance, but they don't act directly at the level of your liver, pancreas, and all
Mhm.
that sort
Yeah.
to help to mitigate and manage that system. And so they aren't as effective at that system and that perspective. They're more working up inside of the brain and regulating the appetite, cravings, emotional eating patterns, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So when you said that your liver, you said it produces more sugar. Okay. So with that, things are starting to connect. The dots are connecting for me. Like say like fatty liver or what is it, non-alcoholic, was it cirrhosis? What's non-alcoholic? So this is how it started. It starts for people who are like say overweight, obese. Over time, you can get
Getting
that
fatty on the
fatty
liver.
liver. Is that no? And they're also wait a minute. Yes, that's I'm connecting it. Okay, and then also, so I know that there's clinical trials right now using on semaglutide on fatty liver, and so
Mhm.
that's where the it's connecting to me. So now I
Oh, I think we lost Kat. Or did you guys lose me? Do
Nope,
we
we
okay.
lost Cat.
Okay.
You're here.
So,
Yeah.
since we lost her a little bit, can you maybe explain to us a little bit about, that
so
particular
I
what
guess
was it?
yeah, basically how the GLP-1 works
Okay.
on the fatty liver.
There we go. We got her. We
Totally.
lost you for a second, Kat, but we got it. Go ahead, Dr. Dan.
So I guess when we look at semaglutide and like GLP-1s
Mhm.
alone, so that's going to be the Ozempics, Wegovys, and that sort,
Mhm.
they aren't as direct affecting on fatty liver and liver fat as much as the newer agents that are coming to market are. So GLP-1 doesn't really directly hit it. It's more going to be through the weight loss effects that you're going to reduce the amount of
Mm,
liver fat that's there. When
Okay.
we look at
interesting.
tirzepatide, so Mounjaro, zepbound, and that sort of thing,
Mhm.
GIP seems to have a little bit of effect in terms of What we think it does is maybe it ramps up the metabolic rate of the fat around our organs, and so that helps
Hmm.
to burn it off a little bit. So it maybe has a little bit of effect there, but there was a recent study that kind of says maybe that's not the case. So TBD on that one, but it looks like it's just more effective at clearing the fat out. If nothing else, the drug is more potent and effective for weight loss, so it's going to have a greater benefit.
Yeah.
Great.
When we look at the newest guys that are kind of on the cusp of coming out, like the
Yeah.
retatrutide and all the glucagon ones and that sort,
Mhm, mhm,
those ones are really cool because glucagon has a much more like direct effect
mhm.
on that liver fat, just because glucagon in general is
Yeah.
kind of a increases metabolic rate. It's basically a catabolic hormone. It's usually released when our blood sugars are super, super low. And so it's designed to basically go and break down fat storage and all that
Mhm,
and release it and have that much greater effect in reducing fat
Mhm.
around the liver, the organs. So with those guys, we're going to see some pretty cool things coming out.
yeah.
I think the one that they're really pushing right now is servodutide by like Bohinger or something like that.
Ooh,
Interesting.
They
Okay.
really haven't taken much of a weight loss because they're kind of like weight loss space. Everybody and their dog is getting into it. They're like, our drug is going to be really great on this fatty liver. So they're
hmm,
making a real big push over on this side.
hmm.
But there's no reason why retatrutide, which has a similar mechanism, is going to be as effective. It's just kind of marketing, market share, all that kind
Sure.
of garbage.
Yeah. Like, how can you compete? Where can you compete? Yeah.
Totally. So
Yeah.
we're going to see drugs kind of specifically for fatty liver going in that space, highly
Okay.
effective for weight loss, but they're more specifically targeted and hitting the liver with that glucagon component going on.
That's really interesting, and I'm wondering if
Cool.
that's
Cool.
because
Yeah.
there's we still know that insurance companies, like, what, only 25% or so cover obesity management, so it's like, that's an interesting play, and I did not know that. Thank you for teaching us something new. I love it, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's hope too. Like there's hope,
Yeah.
with people with liver issues, right?
Hey, Plus Siders. We're so glad that you were able to tune in for part one of the episode. Part two will be posted next week. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week, and remember, you're not alone. It's not your fault. Denied coverage of your GLP-1? Do not quit. That is exactly what insurance wants you to do. You have rights and you can appeal more than once. Claimable makes it simple with expert-backed appeals that actually have been proven to work. Check out the link getclaimable.com/plus sides and use code plus sides with a Z to save.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Side, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.